3, 2, 1.
Racing World is presented by Race Control Magazine. Hello all, welcome into Racing World. That's a terrible gag and I'm not going to stop it. I've got this problem with
By the way,
maps.
that's a terrible T-shirt as well.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say.
And the map last week was terribly bad as well.
It's not going to stop. You wait till I get it tattooed all up my arm. This is Racing World. I'm Darcy Watergrave. That's Bob McMurray. That is David Turner. A truncated version of the show today because, let's face it, guys, not a lot's been going on in the world of motorsport. If you are listening on Spotify or Anchor FM or Radio Public, indeed, if you're watching on YouTube, please do us a favour. Like, subscribe and share. And that way we can carry on babooning around with motorsport from now to the end of time. Right. What? You guys look a bit concerned about that.
There was a bit going on. We had a NASCAR champion. We had South Island Endurance. We had MotoGP. Carry on.
Yeah, we had some stuff. So let's start it. Okay, New Zealand Endurance Championship Highlands, a combination of both North Island Series and South Island Series together. One off, effectively winner takes all. A 1 hour race and 3 hour race, same format as ever. And, you know, Darren Kelly and Alex Riberas won the title in their Aston Martin, and I'm quite blown away by it, not because of the whole Starship factor and what they've done there, that's merit in its own right, but from Darren Kelly's point of view, and I've mentioned it before, what phenomenal season of driving from him, considering he is a drift driver, really. But, man, he showed it on the circuit and he did a damn good job. So
did that stick in your throat a wee bit, did it,
No,
David?
no, it didn't. No, I just think
I'm
that
sorry,
it's
I thought
such
it was you.
It's him, yeah. It's such a diverse discipline, though, you know, and I just,
You can't
well
exactly
done.
drift that thing around the track,
No,
can you?
no.
I mean, got to say.
Because it's got so much damn
But
aero on it.
obviously-
Well, no, and you couldn't afford the tyre stock either, could you?
But, you know, really well done. So, great. I think the New Zealand Endurance Series alive and kicking, so good stuff. Roll on next season.
I think that's really good flag, though, isn't it, for the other drivers? And people like us who have from time to time put our noses up and said, well, it's not really, it's just like ice dancing. It's not really motorsport. The fact that these guys can actually transfer their skills to the real world, I think that is absolutely brilliant and
so
puts all the drivers on notice.
Credit where it's due.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well
and
done.
also credit to all the drivers, because I watched a fair bit of it on TV, and it was a pretty interesting race at the front. I mean, they kept passing cars and you didn't know where the hell anybody was. I don't know who did the graphics, but it was crap because you never actually, unless you knew the numbers of the cars.
Who's he upsetting
It
now?
wasn't
Was
you,
it
was
you?
it?
No, it wasn't
right.
me, this one.
But unless
I did
you
all
knew
the others,
num-
but not that one.
Unless you knew the numbers of the cars, you know, from like fourth place downwards, it was quite confusing to me anyway, but there you go.
But
Liam
this is an
Lawson
issue
did
that
well.
occurs from time to time, doesn't it? Where the on-screen graphic and the racing, and I know even though I'm a bit of a petrol head, sometimes you get confused. You'd like to see more. I don't know what the story of that is. Is it just a matter of bandwidth or not having the information there, or the cost of putting all the information
some
up?
of it's cost, but in New Zealand, so I can wear my television hat here.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of it, other than I think Ruapuna, maybe Highlands, most of the tracks only have one sector split in them. That's the start-finish line. So you can't do split sectors like you would at a Formula One race or a supercar race because there is no other timing.
Yeah, but that's
lines
fine.
across
But
the circuit.
just have the names.
Oh, yeah. Look,
You know, just a
don't
three-letter
get me started on
abbreviation of
any
the
that.
name. So,
But is that a lot of that finance more than anything?
No, some of that's production.
Okay.
But,
There you go.
know, but some of it is finance too.
he doesn't want to talk about it because he doesn't want to annoy whoever might employ him next time. That's what it was.
Yeah, I'm covering my bets. No, I agree. But we've also got to remember in this market, so I will justify it, is the fact that quite often our criteria expect us to look like supercar or Formula One. Well, you've got to spend some of that money as well. We can't always do things the New Zealand way or make compromises. That's part of the excuse, but it's also not an excuse because if you want it, you got to pay for it. Simple.
And just in case anybody missed the first sentence, he wasn't involved in it.
No,
he didn't do it.
I was at home.
So don't attack him. Liam Lawson, he drove well, but everybody said that. I mean, from crashing in and taking basically the car out of qualifying and starting from the pit lane. Yes, it's a quick car, but you've got to drive it quick. And Scott O'Donnell with him. I mean, he drove bloody well as well. It's a two-person race. All sorts of people drove well, I think. Hayden Padden had a bit of a shunt at the beginning with Petch's car.
Gene Robinson.
But there you go. It's an interesting thing. 3 hours is about what I could
It's
take.
really interesting watching Hayden. There was a documentary or a piece on
7 Sharp.
Was it 7 Sharp, was it?
Yeah.
Matt Chisholm, I think, did it around that electric car that he's spent 18
Yeah.
months, and he's now living at Highlands Park,
Yeah.
up above the garage where he's fixing that thing. I'm so proud of what that guy's gone through and the way he keeps picking himself up, dusting himself off. Let's have another crap and the crack, another crack. Dear me. But the whole theory behind the electric rally car, which when I first heard about, I went, that is just bizarre. If they can get it reliable, I suppose the pickup time for those things, the instant torque, it's got huge potential, has it or not?
Well, yes, it has, because electric racing is apparently the way of the future. I don't like it. I don't like it. Two things here. I don't like electric racing at all. But
it's
I
not
do like
racing; it's time trialing, isn't it? So,
but I do
it's a
like
battery
I do like what Hayden Padden is doing, because he is pushing frontiers down in the South Island that the North Island people in all the manufacturers can't push. And I saw
Or the
piece and-
WRC for that matter.
yeah, and he's just got to decide how big a battery is to how far they want to go in the rally and how fast and how long the rally is. A huge amount of tuning to go on before that. I thought he was going to run it at Jack's Ridge, but obviously not. He's running his AP car. But nonetheless, I think it's, bloody incredible. Hayden Padden is a really, really good guy for motorsport generally. It's a shame that Hyundai shafted him internationally, not Hyundai New
internationally,
Zealand.
not the New Zealand crew. They've
yeah.
been really great, but the internationals didn't quite get it, did they?
Yep.
So while we're picking on people,
I don't like that shirt.
This is bitches.
tough. For New Zealand viewers or listeners, Hellberg Awards, going to have a rant.
Oh, man.
What a joke. What
Yeah.
an absolute joke
Yeah.
that we're looking at the fact that they're going to give a Hellberg Award for the past decade of sport. I'm sorry, there was still a sporting year. Sure, some sports disciplines didn't happen
You
this
wrote
year,
something about this.
Yeah.
but not good enough,
Yeah.
really. That's all I'm going to say on it, because it's such a
Well, we can
contentious issue.
expand on it, because I wrote this piece on my Facebook page for News Talk ZB, talking about how it's a slap in the face to all of the disciplines in world
have
New Zealand
competed
sport
this year.
that have actually gone beyond the pool to get something done
Yeah.
and made that extra effort. In the face of overwhelming disaster, somehow they've managed to drag a series out, and yet they're not being rewarded for that. The general, now I didn't mention this, and it's very, very important. I didn't write, what about McLaughlin? What about Van Gisbergen? What about Courtney Duncan? What about Scott Dixon? As is my want to
And
do.
Brendan
because
Hartley
yeah,
Lamont.
and there you go. But I didn't mention that because there are other sports that the Crusaders did very well again under the pump. They won their 4th title. There are a number of sports that did well, but there was no Olympics and there was no real All Blacks to be said, so they don't like that. Now, I didn't write that, but all the responses that I got on the Facebook page were, yeah, Das, what about Scott Dixon and what he did? Yeah, what about what Scott McLaughlin did? And that wasn't me. I didn't crank them up. That's what the public is saying, that they believe that the Hellberg Committee, they're only interested in the Olympic Games and they don't care about motorsport. And it's a bit, it sticks in my craw that all
me
the
too.
sacrifices that all, Israel Adesanya, for example, phenomenal athlete. What he achieved is amazing, but it doesn't sit within the Hellberg remit. And look, just in case you think I'm just on this fresh, it's not. I've been on this for 20 years. I'm not a fan. I never have been. I understand it's a charity and they're raising money for disability sport.
yeah.
And I think that's fantastic. But the way that it is run and the way that it is judged and the way it's formulated is insane. It always has been. And I get the funny feeling it always will be. So really, really sad. Thanks for bringing that up. Now, I've had a rant. You want one now too, mate?
So I'm going to propose then to all our viewers as well, and you can comment to us because comments will count on this, is that before we do our last show for 2020, we'll give out the Racing World Awards for the year.
When's that?
We don't know yet. We haven't decided. And you can comment on who you would like to receive the top award.
There you go.
There you go.
And have we got a budget to go out and buy some
we
little
haven't.
plastic trophies?
We'll find something. So there you go.
And if
Moving
Scott
on.
does win it, do you think he'll join us on the show to and then maybe put
get
that
him.
up with all of his other trophies? No,
We'll
maybe
call
not.
it the Waitoki Award.
There you go.
So we've got a lot of other things to get through. NASCAR, Formula One, Do you want to do IndyCar first while I'm ranting?
Go on.
or-
Yeah, I'm just sitting here listening.
There's a change.
So a little bit of IndyCar news. Elio Castroneves signed yesterday with Michael Shank Racing for 6 races for next year. I think it's great. I think Elio brings a wealth of knowledge to any team. Obviously, Shank Racing have a slight alliance with Andretti Autosport, so it's good. For Elio, it'll be a Honda rather than a Chevy, so that'll be a bit different. The car he gets is the former Dragon Speed entry, which has only done 2 Indy 500s and nothing else. So it's done limited running, so it's virtually a brand new car. So it'll be a good car. So he's signed up for 6 for next year, including the 500. So
it's good news for the
good.
oxygen thieves as well, because the tide of youth that are coming and dominating IndyCar, we need some of the old guys to come back and claw some of that back.
Yeah.
Great for the profile.
Competitively, he hasn't been too competitive.
But great for the profile of the event, though, to have a guy like that in America.
Yeah,
Sure.
and
They
big
love
tick
him
for
over
that
there.
team taking the risk on expanding to 2 cars as well. That's not an easy thing to do. So, sure it involves money, and I'm sure there's plenty there, but it's nice. So IndyCar-wise, that was probably the big kicker of the week, and everything else has pretty much come to an end now. They've done their season runs. McLaughlin said after his run at Indy, fastest he's ever been in a race car, and then he did the test at Barber as well, so he's had a road course test. So now we wait till February, March, and it all kicks off again.
Now he's no longer in the clutches of DJR Team Penske, which no longer exists. Maybe we can actually get him on the program.
All that pales into insignificance when you compare the huge news from Formula One in this last week.
Which I've
Huge
seen on
news.
your piece of paper. Here we
It's-
go. Brace yourself, everyone.
It's massive. And it's not, it doesn't come anywhere close. It's way over the fact that there's going to be a Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in 2021.
Well, that's politically correct, isn't
that's,
it?
that's
What
really
money?
good.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're doing it for the good of the sport.
What
As,
COVID?
Cha-ching.
As somebody said, Lewis Hamilton's got to find a new way of explaining his Black Lives Matter and all the rest of it. But the biggest news is if you want to smell like Formula One, now you can. Because Formula One has launched a range of 5 perfumes that aims to take fans on a sensory journey through a thrilling race and will retail now. So you got this. Sorry, I got to laugh.
I'm really interested in what the 5 cents actually are. Please.
There goes
the
us
first
being
one.
a serious podcast too.
The first one, Precious Metal. This is the first one. Is a fresh, intense, woody fragrance with a metallic twist
Woody
that represents
fragrance?
the
Metal?
courageousness required from drivers as they line up on the grid. So you can smell like a sweaty driver on the grid. Turn 1 is the next one. An avant-garde composition, and I'll go through accords with inimitable accords of burning rubber and rain on a salty asphalt. Jeez. Honouring the performance and determination of powering
lost the
through the
plot.
first corner. The next one, Overtake 320, is named as a nod to the maximum speed in kilometres of Formula One machinery and is a warm and spicy composition that races with a fiery blend of cinnamon and bergamot. Whoa, gosh. It says neon white, Neeum white, probably nauseum white, but anyway. It's actually neon white, is a tribute to the fearlessness of Formula One heroes as they reach the final straight. A confident fragrance with a daring cocktail of spices. This is bullshit. Contrasting
You're reading it.
contrasting hot black pepper with the coolness of juniper. And then finally, the one called Carbon Rain.
Carbon rain.
Rain as in
Carbon
King's Rain,
Oh,
not
right.
rain.
Okay.
Has been created to replicate the sense of victory. So when you get out of the car all sweaty and horrible and you're farted in the car, you can smell like this. And captures a vibrant and energetic scent built around champagne, accord, dry amber and woods. The unique and daring fragrance collection embodies the sport and has been crafted to take fans on an F1 journey.
So for all the views out there, these fine fragrances are available at department stores this Christmas.
Truth. I mean,
Well, they
for
just have
goodness
3,
sakes.
petrol, rubber and money.
Oh, no,
They're the
yeah,
3
yeah,
stenches
yeah.
of Formula One,
The
aren't
smell
they?
of dollar notes. Yeah,
Why don't
that's
they
right.
just worry about racing?
Yeah, well, there's always that too.
Anyway, get over that. 'cause
Yeah,
it's
please. And
bloody
on the subject
stupid.
of it, off to Turkey over the weekend.
Yeah, we come
and
to
That
Turkey.
could be fascinating.
I think it's going to be fascinating because Turkey is a good racetrack. Now, they talk about turn 8, which is almost a triple apex one turn, incredibly fast. But I think the best turn is turn 1. Because they come down the straight and they literally have to turn left. And that's where people try and get underneath each other. And there was so many little comings together there and all sorts of things in the past. So I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. There's only Raikkonen, Hamilton, Vettel and Perez who have raced there before. It's a Tilke track, but it's not a bad one. There's nothing else on the track either though, over the whole weekend, and it's a new surface.
Yeah, no rubber.
So what happened to the last new surface we saw? Mugello. Portimao. They were all over the place. Game on. So
is it going to rain too?
And if it could do. It could do because it's going to be very cold up there anyway. Because it's bloody near winter in Turkey. And Turkey gets cold. In the history of it, there's 3 repeat winners: Felipe Massa in Ferrari, and 2 McLaren winners. There have been. Come to that in a minute. The repeat winners in engine manufacturers are Ferrari 3 and Mercedes. But the Mercedes engine is built by Ilmor, not Mercedes. So there's no Mercedes wins there at all. And the last winner there was Sebastian Vettel in the Red Bull. Before that, Hamilton in the McLaren Mercedes. Before that, Jenson Button in a Braun Mercedes. And then before that, Ferrari. And 2005 was Kimi Räikkönen in a McLaren Mercedes. So really, this is a whole new deal this weekend. And resurfaced, very fast track. I'm actually looking forward to it. Okay, the first 2, we kind of know what's going to happen there. But the carnage and the chaos behind is going to be interesting to see because it's going to be real racing.
And man struggling right now, Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll, they're trying to boost him and get him back on form and all sorts of things. But the kid's just having a bad time. I mean, it's as simple as that. You don't lose talent, and he is talented. He's not a Hamilton or anything like that. He is talented simply by being there. But he's having such a bad time, and I think he was affected by the COVID thing, that he missed a race, and he's been affected by perhaps the disparity in performance between him and Perez. I don't know, but things ain't going well for him. As well as Albon is the other one, the Red Bull. He has got to, and I said it last week, or the last race, and the race before, he has got to come out and perform. He's nowhere near it at the moment. He's looking over his shoulder despite whatever protection he's getting from Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, because of everybody says the Thai connection with Red Bull. Not connection, he owns the bloody thing. The Thai man, whose name I can't remember and can't pronounce anyway. So
don't look at me.
I think like a bit of a pressure applied just to see exactly how that affects guys on races, and they're either going to, as they say, pressure makes diamonds, or it's just going to smash them apart.
Well, it's the name of the game, isn't it? You know, you're not there just for a Sunday drive. You're there to perform. It's a job. So you've got to perform.
Yeah, it is exactly. It's his job.
No.
It's his job. And you're there for a reason.
V8 supercar or Indycar or whatever. You are there to perform.
Yep.
You don't perform, you're gone.
No.
Brutal.
And finally, getting on to other things we're making a short show. NASCAR, Phoenix, the championship finale. NASCAR, lovely little track that. Chase Elliott came through. The race itself, I don't know if you saw it, but it was kind of the 4 cars who were eligible to win. They were all together all the time up the front, more or less, apart from dropping back on. So whatever happened. But Chase Elliott, to his credit, because his car failed the tech inspection 3 times, he was immediately put to the back of the grid to start. So he came all the way from the back, whereas the other 3 started first, second, third. So, that was Keselowski and Hamlin and Logano. They were up first, second, and third. So it was a great performance by young Chase Elliott. His dad, awesome Bill Elliott from Dawsonville, who's also a champion. And it was Jimmy Johnson's final NASCAR race, and he came 5th, which is probably one of his best results of the season. So, and he's going off to IndyCar this next season. So we'll see how he gets on there.
Quick look ahead before we disappear. It's quite a big weekend in the Auckland region for rally cars. You've got the City of Sales Rally, which is happening on the Saturday in and around Riverhead, Puhoi, based in Kumeu, I believe it is.
So sort of greater Auckland area, northern.
Using some of the stages they were going to use for the WRC. And, of course, the Jack's Ridge, named after Andrew Hawkswood's kid. It's in his backyard. He got a digger, dug himself a 2K rally stage, which, of course, we know about because I was lucky enough to be hauled around there by Emma Gilmore a couple of months back. That is pretty much sold out for general admission. I think there are a few grandstand tickets left, so really popular amongst the populace. And I love the format as well. They've got the 70-odd cars, and it just goes half, and then you have a winner. And Sky Sport are going to be televising that too for those who can't get out there. I think it's going to be a really wonderful day, and long overdue for rally fans here in New Zealand. It's been pretty tough.
Yeah,
and it was a very significant point in the New Zealand pitch to WRC about having that venue as part of the WRC when it would have come here this year. So, it's significant that they actually get to to do it. And, other things happening around the country. Well,
It's got, but Jack's Ridge again has got some really spectacular cars there. I mean, proper rally cars and some pretty spectacular stars as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some good guys
Angus
driving.
Bergen's in a car there, and you've got Mad Mike and his truck thing and everything. So,
let's not forget Michael Pickens, arguably one of the most underrated drivers in New Zealand.
Seeing as you've said that, he'll do double duty too, because Western Springs kicks off this weekend. It's its opening event. They were to have their first round last weekend, but totally rained out in the Auckland area. So Speedway is now alive and kicking in New Zealand. So, we're now crossing into our summer season of motorsport. So there'll be plenty to talk about in the coming weeks. Going back, because I'm not abandoning these things that I'm written out here. MotoGP, it's going to be very quick on that. All I want to say is that Yamaha, they're in real trouble. They've been caught out by changing valves on their engine. Earlier on, I won't go into the whole story, but basically they've had to reintroduce engines. They're getting penalised for that. The engines are still breaking down. Yamaha is in trouble. Yamaha, of course, they're one of the biggest manufacturers, and Rossi's in there as well. He'll be riding a Yamaha next year, but not the factory Yamaha. SRT are in trouble. Yeah, Quartararo, who was leading the championship, is now demoted to second because he fell off on the first lap. The Yamaha lot are in deep trouble, and there's another race this weekend there. Supercars bits and pieces have come out of there. Dick Johnson have got Di Pasquale and Will Davison driving for them. Who knows what's happening to David Reynolds? Nobody yet, but he's not very happy, apparently. And I just want to go back to, incidentally, Joan Mir won the race from Alex Rins and Pol Espargaro, the Grand Prix bikes, MotoGP. Go back to Liam Lawson. He's also racing a mate's 2K Cup car. I got this from Grant, his manager. Yep, yes, looking after him. Grant McDonald. He's also going to race a mate's 2K Cup car this coming weekend. The same weekend as the Auckland Rally Jack's Ridge. And as part of the Big Boys Toys, they're auctioning rides with him, with Liam Lawson, at Hampton Downs on November the 30th, the day before he departs for, probably for Europe. And we don't know why he's going back to Europe, but anybody with any sense has probably got a fair idea of why he's going back. The funds are for the Gut Cancer Foundation, which he supported for a while. He auctioned his TRS race suit last year, and it got $5,000. And he's unfortunately, the group that supported Liam has lost one of the group, the late John Fairhall. He was affected by cancer, and of course, the chairman of the group, Grant Baker, is a survivor of the GCF. So, if you go to Big Boys Toys this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, get in there and this auction, because it's for a good cause, and Liam Lawson is he's going to give you a ride around Hampton Downs, judging by his little effort in the Audi at the weekend. So good on him there. And that's all I got really.
That's plenty, Bob.
I know,
and that's all from us.
Well, there's more, but I can't be bothered.
This
to be continued.
From here in the racing world again, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, if you can, please share and like. Plainly, you've got to like it if you want to like it, or you don't have to. Share it to all of your mates. Subscribe as well, so we know there's justification to carry on with this monkeying about. David Turner, Bob McMurray.
Thank you.
I'm Darcy Waldegrave. You have a wonderful, wonderful week, and we'll catch you again next week here on Racing World.
Catch you next week.
Bye-bye.
You have a dream. You have all the drive in the world. You have talent to burn. Now all you need is a chance. Toyota are committed to developing and nurturing New Zealand's next generation of world-class racing drivers, because if you can dream it, we can do it.
Race Control Magazine is your IndyCar fan mag and so much more. Publishing monthly online on issuu.com, you will find Race Control Magazine there for you to download and enjoy everything IndyCar and so much more. Behind-the-scenes features, race reports and the entire Road to Indy series are just part of what you will find, along with stunning images captured from the series' leading photographers. Grab your copy today at issw.com to complete your motorsport read. Racing World is presented by Race Control Magazine.